Welcome to this presentation. In this presentation, let us have an insight of parabolic reflectors. Parabolic reflectors have a very high gain and low cross polarization, and they have a reasonable bandwidth. The basic structure of a parabolic dish antenna is shown here. Here, the focus is where all the incoming radio waves are concentrated. Vertex is the innermost point at the center of the parabolic reflector, and the focal length of a parabola is the distance from its focus to its vertex. And aperture of a parabolic reflector is its opening, and it is described as by its diameter. And this figure shows a parabolic reflector and a feed antenna placed at a small distance d. So the maximum possible antenna gain can be expressed in terms of physical area of the aperture, and Gmax is equal to 4 pi by lambda squared into A, and that will be given by when you substitute the value of A in the equation. So it will become pi d the whole square divided by lambda squared. The actual gain in terms of the effective aperture, which is related to the physical area, is given by G is equal to epsilon 4 pi by lambda squared into A. That will be given by epsilon pi d the whole square by lambda square. And the distance from any point P is called, on a parabolic curve to a fixed point F is called the focus. Okay. If an isotropic source is placed at the focus of the parabolic reflector, the portion A of the source radiation that is intercepted by the paraboloid is reflected as a plane wave of circular cross-section. So if the distance L between the focus and vertex of a paraboloid is an even number of lambda by 4, the direct radiation in axial direction from the source will be in opposite phase and will tend to cancel the central region of the reflected wave. So the direct radiation from the source can be eliminated by means of a directional source or primary antenna. And the primary antenna is the with the idealized hemispherical pattern shown in this figure, which results in a wave of uniform phase over the reflector aperture. And the surface generated by the revolution of the parabola around its axis is called paraboloid or parabola of the revolution. If the distance L from between the focus and vertex of the paraboloid is an even number, that is lambda by 4, the direct radiation in the axial direction from the source will be in opposite phase and will tend to cancel the central region of the reflected wave. Our L is equal to n lambda by 4, where n is equal to 1, 3, 5 and so on. The direct radiation in the axial direction from the source will be in the same phase and will tend to reinforce the central region of the reflected wave. A primary antenna with an idealized hemispherical pattern results in a wave of uniform phase over the reflector aperture. However, the amplitude will be tapered, that you can see in this diagram. And to obtain a more uniform aperture field distribution or illumination, it is necessary to make theta 1 small by increasing the focal length L while keeping the reflector diameter d constant. If the source pattern is uniform between the angles plus or minus theta 1, the aperture illumination is more nearly uniform but not entirely so. The path length from the F to the edges is greater than from F to V, although ray paths via the edges, and that is this P1 and P2, and via the vertex V are of equal and total length to the plane wave front, giving phase equality, and there is more path length to the edges in the spherical attenuating wave. Thus, the field at the edges is weaker, and you can calculate easily. To make the field completely uniform across the aperture, it would require a feed pattern with the inverse taper. And this diagram shows the directional source as indicated by the dashed curve, and this one the dashed curve, and the greater amount of taper with the resultant reduction in edge illumination may be desirable in order to reduce the minor lobe level, and this being achieved, however, to some sacrifices in directivity. So the directivity will be reduced when you go in for this edge illumination. Okay, the figure here shows the patterns obtained for various types of antenna. The first figure shows the lambda by 2 antenna with the small ground wave plane. And the second one is the small horn antenna. The presence of primary antenna in the path of the reflected wave has two principal advantages. These are, first, that waves reflected from the parabola back to the primary antenna produce interaction and mismatching. And the second one is the primary antenna acts as obstruction, blocking out the central portion of the aperture and increasing the minor lobes. To avoid both effects, a portion of the paraboloid can be used and the primary antenna will be displayed, and this is called offset feed. And now let us next develop an expression for the field distribution across the aperture of the parabolic reflector. Okay. And since the development is simpler, when you consider this cylindrical parabolic reflector with the line source is isotropic in a plane perpendicular to its axis, and for a unit distance in the z direction, the power P in a strip of width dy will be given by P is equal to dy into Sy, where Sy is the power density. And next, we'll just have a look into Cassegrain reflector. The main disadvantage of front feed arrangement is that the transmission line from the feed must usually be long enough to reach the transmitting or the receiving equipment, which is usually placed behind or below the reflector. The arrangement that avoids this placing of feed antenna at the focal point is known as Cassegrain feed. This is the simple diagram of Cassegrain reflector, and these Cassegrain reflectors are widely used in telescopic design and monopulse tracking. It permits reduction in axial dimensions of antenna. It permits greater flexibility in design of feed systems and eliminates the need for long distance transmission lines. Larger the subreflector, nearer it will be the main reflector, and shorter will be the axial dimension of antenna assembly. Larger the subreflector, larger the aperture blocking, and also smaller the subreflector, lesser is the aperture blocking. But since it has to be further from main reflector, a compromise in size and the distance of the subreflector is to be made. Losses in the transmission line can degrade the receiver sensitivity. To reduce the aperture blocking, the subreflector can be made of horizontal grading of wires. Such a subreflector is called transreflector. The transreflector passes the vertically polarized wave with the negligible attenuation and reflects horizontally polarized wave radiated by the feed. The main parabolic reflector is often coated with polarization twisters, which are called twist reflectors. A twist reflector is equivalent to a quarter wave plate, which produces a 90-degree rotation of plane of polarization. Through geometrical optics, Cassegrain, the famous astronomer, showed that incident parallel rays can be focused to a point by placing two reflectors. To accomplish this, the main reflector must be a parabola and the secondary reflector a hyperbola. Then the feed placed along the axis of the parabola, usually at the vertex. So the rays that emanate from the feed illuminate the subreflector and are reflected by it in the direction of the primary reflector as if they originated at the focal point of the parabola. The rays are then reflected by the primary reflector and are converted to parallel rays, provided the primary reflector is a parabola and the subreflector is a hyperbola. Diffraction occurs at the edges of the subreflector and primary reflector, and they must be taken into account. With the Cassegrain feed arrangement, the transmitting and the receiving equipment can be placed behind the primary reflector. Two reflectors with ray geometry with the concept of equivalent parabola that is shown in the above figure. And the use of second reflector is usually referred to the subreflector or subdish. It produces the good performance in a number of different applications. So the main advantages of Cassegrain reflectors are its ability to place the feed in a convenient location, reduction of spillover and minor lobe radiation, and its ability to obtain an equivalent focal length much greater than the physical length. The capability of scanning or broadening the beam by moving one of the reflecting surfaces. And the Cassegrain reflectors can be the horizontally polarized waves reflected by a reflector, and they are rotated by twist reflectors of the surface of the main dish. And these are then transformed into a vertically polarized wave and pass through the subreflector with negligible attenuation. So the transreflector passes the vertically polarized wave with a negligible attenuation and reflects the horizontally polarized wave by the field. Thank you.